Hi, everyone. Well, as promised, I am now going to review another Scotch sample that I have. This one is a Highland Scotch, and it is a very, very well-known brand. We're going to review the Macallan 12 Double Cask Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. Now, in comparison, as I noted, this is a Highland Scotch. In my last video, I reviewed the Glenlivet 12 Double Oak, which is a Speyside Scotch. There's a clear difference here in terms of regions. The last one, Speyside Scotch, I had noted the Glenlivet was thought it was very easy drinking. I thought it was it was non-peated, not smoky, fruity, very, very light. All those qualities are what is typical, not always, but is typical of a Speyside Scotch. That's the largest Scotch producing region, I believe, in Scotland. And that exactly fit that bill and exactly kind of is a good representative of that region. This one and the Glenmorangie I have, they're called Highland Scotches, and it says it right here. More typical with that, and again, it's not going to be in every case, is that these will be typically more peated, more smoky, more complex flavors. So just based on that, before I even open this up, I'm going to assume that the Glenlivet will be more up my speed. But just understand something with Highland Scotches. I had reviewed a Glenmorangie. That was a 19-year. I mean, that's not even part of this comparison. And I found that was not that. It had some peat, some smoke, but not that much. So just because it's in the region doesn't always mean it's going to be that way. I think Glenmorangie as a brand is a little bit of an exception to that, which I did find in that one. But in any event, I want to see if that's really the case in this one. So this is a double cask, similar to the Glenlivet, which also involved double casks. In this case, it is 86 proof. That was 80. These are, if I understand, aged in Oloroso, Sherry American, and European oak casks. So I'm going to crack this open. We are going to pour this up, see what this tastes like, and then I am going to compare to the Glenlivet, which I did in the last one. I saved a little bit here. Let's get it poured up. You got to be kidding me with this sample. A cork and everything. Now, that's a sample bottle. Got it poured up, and man, there are some, bourbon whiskey bottles that have corkscrews, 750 milliliters. This is a sample and has a cork. I think that's so cool. That's very, very cool. It's the first time I've ever seen a small sample that had a cork, so I'm going to take it that this is exactly what I think. Certainly is a better Scotch, but then the Glenlivet wasn't too bad either, and that was the normal screw top sample. First thing I noticed when I poured it up, color is what I would expect. From a Scotch. Again, this is also 12 years. I find this immediately just looks and felt thicker as I poured it out. So let's see if that, if I find that on the taste as well. Again, same color. This is also a 12-year. I think when we compare the two, we'll see how the color is, but let's give this a nose. All right, this right away, definitely sharper on the nose. I can smell more smoke coming out of this. This is more typical, I guess, of your, quote unquote, your peaty, smoky Scotch. I have a feeling this is going to be that. Cheers. Yes, this is exactly that. I'm not, I'm certainly a bourbon drinker, and I'm not really a Scotch drinker, but certainly if I'm going to have a Scotch, my own preference would be less peat, less smoke. More of what I had in the Glenlivet, I think, and less of the peated taste. That's what a lot of people don't like in a Scotch. Some people do. I prefer less of that. This is your classic Scotch. Again, that's the when people think of that, I guess that's that traditional Highland Scotch taste. It says it right here. Says that it is a Highland Scotch, but again, that's not exactly what I got as much of on the Glenmorangie, which is also. So let's put this aside. I'm going to get the Glenlivet. Let's put them side by side, and we'll see what a traditional Highland Scotch looks like versus a traditional Speyside Scotch. Okay, I got the Glenlivet 12. I did save some from my last review. Still have a tiny amount. So let's just do a comparison here. First off, sample bottles, not a contest. This is a much better sample bottle of the Glenlivet. The Macallan 12. I mean, a cork, really? That's fantastic in a sample bottle. Anyway, love that. Well, that's not going to be the deciding factor in something like that. It's going to be how the whiskey tastes. So, as far as color, Macallan 12, Glenlivet 12. I think the Macallan is a little darker. I'm not sure if that's the influence of the Oloroso sherry cask. It might be. Aging is the same, both the 12 years. So Glenlivet 12, Speyside Scotch, traditionally more delicate, fruity, less peat, less smoke. Macallan 12, Highland Scotch, typically more complex, more smoke, more peat, and everything I've seen so far matches that. So let's just do nose on the Glenlivet, nose on the Macallan. The Macallan 12 is a little sharper. This one's a little fruity. Let's give this a taste. Glenlivet 12 double oak. Cheers. Macallan 12 double cask. Exactly that. These fit this stereotypes, if you want to use that term. This is lighter. This is fruitier. Less peat, less smoke. This is definitely a little heavier. It is thicker, and it is more smoke and more peat. That basically sums it up. Preferences may be different if y'all like your traditional Scotch. I mean, really, your stereotypical Scotch. This one of the two. If you're like me and you kind of prefer something a little bit not your traditional Scotch, less peat, less smoke, this may be that one right here. It's all personal preference, but I thought this would be a good comparison, both aged 12 years in double casks, and we'll be going back to bourbon soon. But I just thought this was a great comparison, really great opportunity to try these small samples instead of paying for entire bottles that I may or may not finish. Cheers, take care, thanks for watching.